How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. Voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud, the most extensive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. We have one hell of a show on this Wednesday. Is it hump day? Are we over the hump? Oh, not even close, folks. We've got one hell of a hill to climb with respect to SHTF. And it'll be nice when we get to the top. Whew. It's a long one. Let's start with this. In Congress, Representative Eli Crane has revealed that Mr. Crooks, the would-be assassin, the world's worst shot, according to the Secret Service, had his home scrubbed clean, allegedly scrubbed, as in there was no trash, there was no silverware. It was cleaned like a biological research center would be cleaned. That kind of clean. Unbelievable, folks. We've been talking about conspiracy, about government involvement. It's their conspiracy. Folks, cleaners are not needed for the guilty. Yet some organization went in there and cleaned his house. Cleaners aren't needed for the guilty. The people that are being blamed. It is needed for a cover-up, though. So let's ask a couple questions. Who had the power to clean it up? Who had the need to clean it up? Who had the authority to order that his place be scrubbed top to bottom? I'll tell you who it is, folks. It is the government, and they had the conspiracy to hide. Very similar to, I don't know, how about one of the world's scariest roofs? It was steep. It was slopey. It was dangerous. Yet the next day, we had a federal agent on top of the roof, not a professional cleaning organization, a government agent standing on the roof with a hose, cleaning it down. Get rid of that evidence. That's right. When the evidence is being cleaned, it's because somebody has ordered it. And you don't just go cleaning up like this. These are crime scenes. This is where evidence exists. Yet here we are with it. Welcome back. I'm telling you, it is Wednesday, folks. It is July 24th. Get your comments down below. Get your comments, thoughts, questions, prognostications, and your bold-ass statements about what is going on in below. Mr. Uman is in the house. And folks, not only is the government covering it up, but they're willing accomplices in the mainstream media. Now, back in the 70s, at the church hearings, Congress and then the world at the exact same time learned from the CIA that they had something called Operation Mockingbird. And that's where the CIA admitted it has infiltrated newspapers, radio, periodicals, television, all forms of media for the sole purpose of controlling and directing the news in order to keep the American people brainwashed and thinking in the direction the government wanted them to think, and to only look in the direction that the government wanted them to think. They put blinders on everybody so we couldn't turn our head and see the truth. Folks, the mainstream media lies. All lies. Here's a great example and why shit has hit the fan, and it is not gonna get better any time fast. For Axios, a left-leaning, shall we say, media organization, the writers have claimed that Kamala Harris was never the border czar. Never the border czar. Well, I tell you what, that claim backfired. Because in our social media / news networks, there's one called X, aka Twitter, X users discovered and then put it out there, right? What the same writer wrote 3 years ago. The same writer that says she was never the border czar is the same writer who claimed that she was. And I don't need Axios or some writer. We all remember Kamala being named as the border czar. And then she never went there. Not for years and years and years. I think it was a congressman. No, a congresswoman. I think it was Boebert. Congresswoman Boebert carried a cardboard cutout picture of Kamala and took it to the border so that at least a cardboard cutout could see what was actually happening. And this cardboard cutout saw more and did more than Kamala ever did. We know Kamala was the border czar. We know what's been going on at the border. We have the DHS hiding the facts, lying. Joe Biden lying. The entire administration lying. The mainstream media lying. Folks, Kamala Harris, as the border czar, is responsible, and we can hold her accountable, you and I, by continuing to share vital information on the internet, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Dancer and Donner and Cupid and Blitzen, and also here at the Prepared Mind Network. Share that internet address if you will. Folks, the lying won't stop. The bullshit won't stop. The mainstream media will not stop because they are wholly owned and a subsidiary of the deep state. Good golly, folks. Let's continue, though, with this partisan hack bullshit. In Congress, we have Jerry Nadler. That's right, the Democrat named No Nads Nadler by the Prepared Mind Network. Guess what? He has come out, publicly stated for the world to see and hear, that No Nads Nadler has blamed President Trump for the assassination attempt. I thought we were cooling things down. I thought we were gonna ratchet back and pull back on the hyperbole, on the political violence discussion. No, they're not. In fact, Democrats are inciting violence, and they're destroying absolute intelligent thought for their idiotic followers who are like, I've got the IQ of a carrot and I need some information. So I'm going to listen to Nadler, to Pelosi, to Obama. Some of the most stupid ideas are just being broadcast and rebroadcast out there as fact. That it's Trump's fault. Someone shot him. What? It's Trump's fault that the border was open, not Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the Department of Homeland Security and Border Patrol and ICE. It's Trump's fault. Crazy. Yikes, what a sneeze. Okay, let us continue, folks. What I like is that Americans are using humor, and we should use humor to point things out. That's one of my, I like to say, one of my entertainment qualities is injecting humor. Sometimes it's a little coarse. Sometimes it's 18 and above, right? But always I love to use humor to destroy the ridiculous, phantasmic arguments of the Democrats and the deep state. And it's not, I'm not the only one. And in fact, I kind of learned a lot of that from the late great, may he rest in peace. And the son of a gun is not having to deal with what we are, Rush Limbaugh, using humor and wit to expose these people. Well, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin King Bibi Netanyahu, addressed Congress, and he mocked the woke left idiots in this country. He said that gays for Gaza is like chickens for KFC. You know, I'm not look, Netanyahu smart. Is he moral? Is he decent? I don't care, because I don't think any politician with the track record and living in that world, how can you be considered moral when you're surrounded by people who want to murder you? So your only defense is a good offense, and you have to, well, fight back. Anyways, gays for Gaza is like chickens for KFC. Makes no sense, right? As quick as the Colonel Sanders would throw a chicken in the deep fryer, the Gaza Palestinian jihadis would throw the gays from rooftops. Take your pick, hot oil or fast gravity. Yikes. Now, speaking of Palestinian scumbags, the radical terrorists known as pro-Hamas supporters and pro-rape Palestinian supporters have breached security. Not at the White House, not at Congress. They put up lots of fences to protect themselves from the anti-Israel Netanyahu visit. No. These pro-rape Palestinian supporters. Remember, the Palestinians and Hamas and the people of Gaza believe that rape is a weapon of war. And it's a legitimate one at that. So they breached security at the Watergate Hotel, the actual real Watergate, where Nixon's bumbling CIA crooks broke into a Democrat office. Can you imagine the horror? Holy crap. Political spies from the CIA broke into someone's political office, their campaign headquarters. Oh my God, the world just ended. And Nixon resigned as a result of that. But Kamala Harris, that's right, old stretch marks on the knees and stretch marks on the mouth, Kamala Harris, in the 2020 election season, promoted and encouraged dangerous, violent, murderous behavior when she told people who were being arrested for murder, rape, arson, looting, she told them, keep doing it. That's right, come on, the same one. She should be impeached for that. In fact, there are articles of impeachment written against her already. They should be impeaching her right freaking now. Impeach and then try the bitch for inciting violence. Dare I say insurrection? Anyways, so these pro-rape Palestinian supporters, I don't know why they're still in our fucking country. At some point, I'm going to get to this news headline. The upshot or downshot is that Netanyahu is staying at the Watergate. So these anti-Israeli, anti-Semitic, anti-Jew, anti-American, right? They've said death to America. Release bugs and maggots. And they pulled fire alarms. Why aren't they and anyone who wears the keffiyeh or whatever the fuck that thing is on their head, why aren't they in jail or deported? Well, how strange is that? The leftists encouraging and allowing lawlessness. No doubt it's also involved and tied to the lack of the ability to do their job. Christopher Wray, head of the FBI, and he admitted today, Chris Wray, director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, admitted today that the FBI is not investigating why Trump was allowed to be on stage after an assassin was spotted an hour before the shooting started. He was wanted an hour before the shooting started. He flew a drone over the event a couple of hours before it started. Doesn't that sound like they don't care why or who or what was happening behind the scenes of this conspiracy if they're not investigating it? Chris Wray is a piece of feces. In my opinion, he's a traitor because he has an oath to uphold and obey the Constitution. I think he should be impeached or removed, defunded, something. Right? Get rid of these people. They are beyond objectionable. They're awful. They're absolutely awful people, and they're in charge of this country. He's not looking into why Trump was allowed on stage. Who made that freaking decision based on the intelligence, the reports, the complaints, the fear of having this assassin around? In any attempt, as a response to this, the fact that he was shot at, hit in the fucking head, and the Democrats are like, he's faking it. Right? Trump is no longer going to hold outdoor rallies because government officials allowed. Yes, they allowed the shooter to take his shot. They allowed the leftist woke Democrat assassin to fire off several rounds at Trump and the crowd before they chose to shoot the assassin. And Chris Wray isn't looking into why he was allowed on the stage when there was an active threat. And folks, people have captured the active threat walking around on camera. Broad daylight. He wasn't wearing a fucking ghillie suit, covered in weeds and sticks and shit blending in, doing a sneaky crawl across the grass. Scooby doing it on his fucking fingertips and his toes to sneak up a ladder like a snake, slithering in and out of the rungs and getting on the roof. In fact, there was a report today that there was no ladder. Well, how the fuck did he get on the roof? Who in the government is making all of these ridiculous claims? It is misdirection. Absolute misdirection in order to fool everybody, confuse everybody, so nobody knows anything about what the hell is going on. And that's all they got. And by the way, let us continue. You and I, us, we all need to do our job. Our job is to call Congress on a daily basis. Our congressmen, our senators at the federal level, and tell them to fight evil, fight the Democrats, fight them. We need to fight. And we need to notify one another by sharing internet addresses of good videos, tweets, Instagrammers, whatever, right? Facebook posts, Meta. Use their system to get rid of them and their power. Folks, Kamala Harris, here's one to get out there. According to a historian, Kamala Harris is the descendant of an Irish slave owner in Jamaica. He was known as a notorious sugar plantation owner. Kamala Harris, her great whoever's owned slaves. Unbelievable. She is, Kamala Harris, the crazy diversity, equity, and inclusion candidate. And yes, they are continuing, especially the black liberal Democrats, claiming that to say she is a DEI candidate is the same as using the N-word. But she's not black. She's just got a tan because her mother is a Hindi, an Indian from the country of India. She is the crazy diversity, equity, and inclusion candidate. She is not black. And she has her own guilt over slavery to deal with. That's why she has said, we need to pay reparations. She's trying to buy black votes, folks. It's that simple. It's dishonest. It's disingenuous. It's bullshit. She's full of shit. Kamala is a race-hustling BJ monster. So vote Kamala? No. She's not Madonna. She's not going to make sure everyone gets a BJ for voting for her. Nope. But she is a race hustler. And what cracks me up, what actually disgusts me, is why we're supposed to believe that women are proud of her. They're not, folks. In fact, I watched a few videos where black women say they don't like her. They're not impressed with her. She doesn't represent them. And I don't think she represents good, decent women. It makes no sense to say women are proud of her. Why would they? She has done nothing. In fact, former Mayor Brown, Willie Brown, has come out and he has endorsed Kamala. Those BJs she gave Willie Brown under his mayoral desk of San Francisco are still paying dividends today. I guess if I was gay, I would be in a much better position. I would have a political appointed job or some political contracts. Well, I guess I'll just stick to having my morals and being a decent human. Unlike Kamala, BJ monster. Vote Kamala, everyone. Vote Kamala. Fuck. Unbelievable. Get your questions, comments, statements, prognostications in down below. We've got a lot more to discuss. A lot more. Get back up there. Oh, Zelensky, speaking of gay, speaking of blowjobs, speaking of butt pirates, Zelensky has attempted to contact Team Trump. Yeah. He's actually crapped all over Biden, tossed him under the bus. He wants to keep the bullshit facade of Russia is going to take all of Ukraine from us. Now, there's another territory of Russia. It's on the Black Sea. Or is it the, what sea is that sea up there? Anyways, it's a Baltic Sea. It's called the Oblast, right? It's a Russian territory that's separated from mainland Russia. The claim is that Russia is going to start taking Ukraine and Poland and other countries in order to make connect that. I don't buy that. It's kind of like Hawaii is a U.S. state. It's not connected to the mainland. Neither is neither is Alaska. An even better example. That would be like Canada saying, we're afraid that the United States of America is going to take all the land from Vancouver and all the Klondike territory and make it America so they can they're crazy. Anyways, back to Zelensky. He is trying to convince Trump that Russia is going to invade them and that there's going to be inevitable territorial losses if we try and make peace with Russia. Is Zelensky saying that Trump should call Putin, talk to Putin, find out what Putin's up to? Is that the suggestion? Last time Trump called Putin, the Democrats claimed he was a Russian asset and he should be arrested and thrown out of office. These fucking people. Zelensky, what does he want? You know what he wants. The little butt pirate thinks Trump is actually going to make deals with him. Folks, Americans are suffering. And Zelensky thinks we should pay him many, many, many more billions of dollars just to lose the war with Russia so that he has all the money he needs to live well and bribe American politicians to keep playing this game. Supporting his genocide, Zelensky's murder, and Zelensky's corruption. By the way, Zelensky has arrested members of the church, members of the media, and even tortured and killed them. But, he's a good guy. I don't think so. Sorry, not buying it. Now, folks, the conspiracy within the federal government system, Washington, D.C., it is not limited to the FBI and the CIA. It is not limited to Social Security, the Secret Service, the other SS. In fact, we talk about them as the FBI, the CIA, the Department of Homeland Security, the DHS, but nobody calls the Secret Service the SS. They call it the USSS. You know why they do that? Because the SS was the Nazi military. And nobody wants to be part of the SS. Anyways, Matt Gaetz had the head of the FBP. Have you ever heard of the FBP? That is the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And the director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the FBP, was confronted by Representative Republican Matt Gaetz because the leader refused to let him, Matt Gaetz, interview a political prisoner. That political prisoner was a member of the Trump cabinet. That's right. I'm talking about Peter Navarro. He was a member of the Trump cabinet. The Bureau of Prisons lead bitch said Peter Navarro was too notorious for Matt Gaetz to interview him. Too notorious. Meanwhile, Michael, the creepy porn lawyer, Avenatti, he was allowed to do a podcast out to public from prison. See, everything is politicized, folks, and Democrats are demons. Democrats are evil creatures who will lie about everything and anything to get their way, to hide their evil and to hide their corruption. Peter Navarro refused a subpoena. A subpoena. He is a member of the president's executive staff and was exercising executive privilege. Privilege that was well established and well accepted. It was a part of law and he used it. But the Biden administration, the Biden Attorney General, the Biden Department of Justice denied this privilege and jailed Peter Navarro, while creepy porn lawyer Avenatti stole from a porn client, violated criminal codes, and was thrown in prison for obvious criminal behavior. But Navarro is notorious. He's an economist working for Trump in the administration. But Navarro is notorious because he refused to talk to Congress and exercised his privilege. So fuck the BFP, the FBI, the CIA, the DHS, and all Democrats because they're all sacks of shit. They're all unworthy, folks. And I want to end my session because we're about to go to the inner circle. Here it is, folks. Best joke of the day. The Democrat National Committee chairman claimed that the nomination process that they're going through in order to nominate Kamala Harris will be fair and transparent. Kind of like the elections of 2020, which is what I started off this show with as a disclaimer that this is all humor and satire. It's just totally laughable, folks, that it'll be fair and transparent coming from the party of elite, anti-American, cheating sacks of shit. The same people whose idea of fair and transparent was literally throwing out Trump ballots, was literally running ballots through the machines multiple times, was literally taping cardboard to windows so nobody could see them cheating, so that they, the fair and transparent people claimed that a water pipe that was leaking in the bathroom was a justifiable excuse to shut down vote counting in Atlanta while they cheated. And hours later, when they turned the machines back on, the votes were flipped. Trump's lead evaporated. Biden's lead grew. And Biden received the most votes that any presidential candidate has ever gotten. But don't worry, the DNC chair claims that the nomination process will be fair and transparent. Thank you, Mr. Chin Music, for sending me a wonderful picture of Kamala Harris when she was dating Montel Williams. Yeah. And you've all heard the expression, right? Screwed her brains out. Well, between Willie Brown, Montel, and all the other men in her life, I would have to say that that's an accurate assessment of what happened to her thinking skills. Okay, folks, it is that time. It's time for the inner circle where your questions, comments, and thoughts are up for grabs, up for things. Anyways, Ooh-Man has them. Let's go. And we're back. We got Ooh-Man behind the scenes, shuffling through questions, comments, thoughts. And what a day. What a day. What an SHTF mess. Hey, you all like this new haircut here? Yep. I'm back within regs, except for this beard. Anyways, I'm a civilian now. Mr. Ooh-Man, what do we want to discuss? What do you want to discuss, man? Well, looks like Chin Music. He says, there was a device that pinged at Crook's house and at a D.C. office building in Gallery Park weeks prior to the assassination attempt. Take a wild guess who has offices in that area. I wonder who would have offices where devices were pinging at the assassin's house. I'm going to guess it was the FBI, a.k.a. the FBI. Don't worry, they won't investigate themselves. I love it. The government lies. Well, another branch of the government investigates them. Well, in this fucking case, the investigation team, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, has decided they're not going to investigate these things. I mean, I love it. I would love to go rob a bank and then have the police go, John, we would like you to investigate your bank robbery, please. Please give us your conclusions and we will decide to act on those conclusions. I'll say, there's some strange evidence out there, but it wasn't me. Nothing to worry about, nothing to see here. Move along. Why don't you go arrest some Republicans? Yes, arrest Republicans for peacefully protesting until they were assaulted by the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police, not just with batons, but also flashbang grenades and batons and flashbang grenades and rubber bullets and flashbang grenades and chemical agents. Don't forget, the Washington, D.C. police killed people. Roseanne Boylan, ring a bell? Many people were killed and severely injured that day by the government. And many people acted as heroes trying to save them. And they were arrested for that. Hell, just being in D.C. can get you arrested. Where do you think I'm not going to fucking visit? Thanks, Chin Music. And on to the next, Mr. Ooh-Man. Drum roll, please. Brrr. He says, I'm trying to figure out how the Heritage Foundation got that information. Could it be that guy? Julian Assange did it, man. He hacked in, he got it. Or was it that guy? Snowden. Was it Edward Snowden who released the information and gave it to the Heritage Foundation? Or it could have been that guy who used to control Project Veritas, but since he was doing too much to expose the evil Democrats and social media lying sacks of shit, they threw him out of his own fucking company. Could it be that guy who probably went and had a beer with Chris Wray, and Chris Wray was like, yeah, we got this guy contacting him. He's yeah, we're not going to investigate this, but it could have been that guy. Or it could be super secret squirrel bullshit. Well, let me check my Kamala Harris dirty knee decoder ring. Well, I think it says it's true. Oh no, that was the magic 8 ball I just consulted. Yeah, we never know. We don't know. How can we know the truth, folks? We can't be there. That's why we're supposed to rely on accredited, honest, decent media, investigative reporters. We're supposed to rely on news reporting agencies. We're supposed to be able to get information from whistleblowers without them fearing for their fucking lives, being assassinated or just thrown in prison like Julian Assange, or having to leave the country like Edward Snowden. And even people who report criminal activity by the government, they have to leave the country and go live in fucking Russia, like Tara Reid, who complained, Joe Biden sexually assaulted me. Sexual assault means rape or attempted rape. But she lives in Russia now because she doesn't trust the Biden administration to pick up the phone and go, stop the malarkey, Hillary, and pick up your phone. Yeah, it's Tara Reid. I think she's going to have an accident. Why don't you see to it? That sort of thing. Mr. Ooman, where do we roll next? Where do we want to go? Who is up next? Name redacted. He says ridicule is one of the most powerful legal counter strategies. I tell you what. When you say, do you mean legal or lawful? Because I am not legally ridiculing anyone. I'm lawfully ridiculing them. Meaning it is not against the law. It is not unlawful. It is lawful to use ridicule. But there's a difference, folks, between an ad hominem attack and using satire and ridicule to show how, shall we say, corrupt, stupid, and wrong these people are. You see, an ad hominem attack is, John, we know you don't like Kamala Harris, but why isn't she qualified to be president? And if I just said, well, Kamala Harris is a whore, that is an ad hominem attack, meaning I'm attacking her and not giving examples of her incompetence. So again, the question is, John, why is Kamala Harris not qualified to be the president? I would say, well, according to woke politics, the fact that her ancestors owned slaves and were notoriously bad people. That, I think, according to the woke DEI rules, would disqualify her. But let's look to things that are more prescient, realistic. As the border czar, as vice president, she did nothing. In fact, it was years and years before she even went to the border. I think that disqualifies her because she doesn't take her job seriously. The assignment, the responsibility for the border was placed in her hands and she did nothing about it. I think that alone shows that she is grossly negligent and some would say criminally negligent. Not only does she need to be disqualified as a presidential candidate, but she should be held accountable criminally for her behavior. And if we want to go back to her days as the Attorney General in California, she used the power of her office to hide information that would have exonerated a man who was on death row. He was about to be assassinated, but DNA evidence was being sought in order to prove his innocence. And Kamala Harris and her office used their power to thwart this effort. Thankfully, the man, who happened to be black, the man was able, through his defense and the defense networks, to get the information, DNA information, to the proper channels. He was proven to be innocent and his life was spared. But Kamala Harris, no, wouldn't allow that. She would have had him dead. What would have happened if the man had been, shall we say, executed for a crime he did not commit? The Kamala Harris had a direct, shall we say, action in trying to prevent his, well, freedom, his justice, his defense. Would she be guilty of murder then? Well, because he was freed, and folks, there are many other examples. That is the difference between good political ridicule using humor, if needed, wanted, and desired, and then also the ad hominem attack. In any event, ridicule is very powerful. Thank you, name redacted, for seconding the motion. All in favor, say aye. All righty, Mr. Uman, where shall we roll next? And it's back to Mr. Chim Music. And he says, today, a pro-ham-ass group in the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., pulled down Old Glory and put up a Palestinian flag. They did that again? They tried that a few weeks back. They put a kafaya, or whatever that word is, on a statue of George Washington. They defaced a statue of George Washington. I think that this is an act of war, in my opinion. It is an act of sedition to pull down an American flag, especially if that flag was being flown at a government building. You see, a flag isn't just a piece of cloth. A flag represents things, right? The fact that flags have a long tradition in law of being revered as representing a country, to pull down the American flag and put up a Palestinian flag is an act that I think is not only seditious, but it's an act of violence. And it is a proclamation that Palestinian rule exists. See what I'm saying? It's not just bad flag etiquette. It's a crime. There's a difference between burning your flag on the street and desecrating a flag that is being flown as representation of an institution and body of government. All right, enough of my pontification. Thank you, Chin, for bringing that to my attention. I'm sure Joe Biden, I'm sure Kamala Harris is all over it and will make sure that those who have committed acts of injustice will be brought to justice. And then let go, no bail, no charges, and encouraged to commit more crimes. Thank you, Kamala Harris. Something else she has done. Something else she has done is encouraging violence, theft through looting, and even murder by telling all the BLMers, get out of jail, go back and keep doing what you're doing. Okay, Mr. Uman, let us step forward again. And Uman says, you put up a flag to claim victory. That is correct. The flag is used in battle to claim victory over a city or territory. And the most famous flag raising of all time was the United States flag being raised at Mount Suribachi in Iwo Jima. World War II, the Marines fought, folks, for days and weeks because the Japanese army, Japanese Marines, dug tunnels, opened up crevices and caves that were volcanic, and were fighting from cracks and crevices within Iwo Jima. Iwo Jima had just about every plant, bush, and jungle piece blasted off of it, burned off of it in order to take that island. And that's why that flag raising, well, there's a photographer there, or I think a cameraman, to film it. That's why it is so iconic, because yes, when you defeat an enemy, you raise your flag. And that's what the Palestinian people are literally saying. The pro-rape, the lovers of rape, the Palestinian supporters. Yeah, that's who they are, folks. That is exactly who they are. Mr. Uman, let us continue if we shall. And it is Uman. He says there are fences going up around the White House to protect them from their own supporters. Oh, man. Isn't that amazing? We have radical left-wing protesters, the anti-Jews, the anti-Israels, the pro-Hamas, Hamas, the pro-Palestinians, the pro-Hezbollah, the pro-Middle East, the pro-North Africa, the pro-anti-Americans, right? These people. The White House has put up fences. Now, another thought has occurred that the reason they're putting these fences up is not because Bibi Netanyahu is in town staying at the Watergate. It's because something big is about to happen. And what could that big thing be? A lot of people are going to say, well, you know, Biden has died, or Biden is abdicating the presidential throne, because that's what they think it is. They think that because they're in charge of the government, that the government has authority over us. Let me remind them again. Government, please pay attention. God, people. Constitution, government servants. God created the people created the Constitution gave some authority to the government. But here we are, folks. Maybe Biden is leaving office, which makes Kamala the vice president. The whole bag will become the commando-in-chief. I don't have a whole lot of love or faith in the Democrats, folks, and I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Republican Party. They have had 4 fucking years to fix the voter problem out there. Now, I understand in Democrat cities, Democrat jurisdictions, Democrat states, that they will not clean out their voter rolls. They will not remove dead people and pets. They will not find the residences and business addresses where hundreds and indeed thousands of voters are registered to vote from, as if they all live in the same house. They won't do that, but Republicans have had an opportunity to go around the country, find these places, clean it out, and actually report back to us, you and me, and tell us, we cleaned out all of these bad voters. We fixed this problem. They haven't done it, not to the extent and our expectations. So we're going to have one hell of a fight when it comes to this election and voting. So please continue to call, write, text, get a hold of your representatives at the state level, get involved locally at your local polling voting location. Tell them you want to volunteer because you want to stop the cheat. In fact, we all need to stop Trump from cheating. All states should require voter ID and voter registration and paper ballots to ensure that Trump can't cheat his way to victory. Mandate paper ballots and ID. That's the reverse trick. And it's out there. It's Wednesday, folks. Hump day. And I want to ask you, what do you want to talk about next? I think your questions are right here. And it is Heidi 12. She says, catapult them over the gate to the White House. That would be high technology for these Palestinians. If it was not for the West, if it was not for Canada and the United States of America, if it was not for European nations advancing military technology, the catapult would probably be the most powerful weapon these desert cavemen would have. Notice I did not say trebuchet. I said catapult, because even the trebuchet is probably too technical for them to understand. But here we are. Yeah, I say we catapult them over the gate so that they can go shake Biden's hand. Not us. Not when I say we, I don't mean us Republicans or you. I mean, you know, the other Democrats out there. They should get more creative in getting their people in there. But wait a minute, that would be insurrection. And I do not want to encourage or incite dangerous and, illegal behavior. Oof, no, not me. No. It's the left that say more political violence is necessary. It's the left who say they should shoot Trump again. They are the ones who say, right, you and I are white supremacist, Nazi, Hitler following racists. There we go. That's what we are, according to the left. Once again, folks, I've been working with, and I heard this term the other day, and it pisses me off. Melanated people. Melanated. Is that even a fucking word? I don't think so. But it's a made-up word meaning people of color. Trying to give it some sort of gravitas, some sort of weight, some sort of power to say, if you're melanated, you're, I don't know, better. To me, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, what if there was a black person who is an albino? Can you be both black and an albino at the same time? The answer is yes. The answer is yes, because black refers to people of African descent. And your genetics, your DNA would say that you're a black person and you would have other phenotypical features of the typical African or black. You just wouldn't look that way because you're an albino. Now, I bet if liberals were to hear me explain that, they would lose their shit. They would lose their shit, right? Their elevator would go clean through the top and out the building. They would lose their shit. Just like, well, what about white people with really good tans? Like George Hamilton. Yeah, that guy he's pretty dark. And there are other, white people who get pretty darn tan out there. And speaking of that, I don't know what I mean. I'm on a tangent, about to go down a rabbit hole. Anything I can do to piss off Democrats, here I am. Anyways, Mr. Human, where do we want to go next? He says, the white flag is the French battle flag. Thank you, village idiot. Yes, and they wear brown trousers also. Oh, man. I mean, they say the British redcoats wore red so that when they were hit with bullets or stabbed with bayonets, it wouldn't inspire their enemies to think they were winning because, they're already red. In any event, it's fucking French. The French have actually been fighting back more than Americans have, believe it or not, Mr. Idiot. Because, and I'm not calling you an idiot, you're village idiot. Anyways, the French are actually fighting back. After the American Revolution, we had the French Revolution, and the French actually captured the king and the aristocrats. Is it the king or the emperor? I can't remember what his rank was at that time. What noble rank and title he gave himself. They took all the leaders in France, arrested them, and cut their fucking heads off publicly. So, yeah, since then, the French have been a little bit more, shall we say, limp. But in any event, here we are. Here we are. And by the way, at this point in time in history, we have just a few minutes left. So what I would like to do is finish up some quick questions, and I want to get back to what news has happened since we first started this broadcast. And I also want to thank everybody who has gone to the preparedmind.club, our premium website where you can sign up and join us live Monday through Friday. And there we go, right here. You guys are supporting our efforts to get the news out there, to share information, content, to help other people wake up. So yes, internet address on YouTube, share it. Ooh, man, where are we going next, buddy? Pow, name redacted, says, remember 2020, the adversary force pushed the concept of by any means necessary, over, under, or through. I think it was Nancy Lugosi pushing it. You mean Nancy Piglosi? 90 Proof Nancy? Yeah. By any means necessary. The head of the Democrat Party in Colorado said they will lie, cheat, and steal to win. Well, the lead that Trump has over Camel Toes, the DEI candidate, is so massive, and it is already growing. In fact, it's totally backfiring. It is already backfiring. It doesn't matter that Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or Hillary, Queen of Death, right? If they endorse her, or Willie Brown, the receiver of multiple BJs by Kamala, doesn't matter if they're endorsing Kamala. The people don't like her. And it's already falling by the wayside. Enjoy the liberal tears, if you will. It's just going to get more entertaining. More entertaining. And by the way, the Secret Service director has resigned in disgrace for failing to assassinate Trump. That is a Babylon Bee news story. Is that accurate? Oh, wait. That's satire as well. But it almost makes sense, doesn't it? Fuck. Thank you, Chin. All right, Uman, who's up next? We've got Mikey G. He says, Magic 8 Ball says, try again later. That's what Hillary's keep saying. Keep trying, bitch. That's the ghetto version. In fact, speaking of ghettos and using the wrong accents, I don't know if you remember when Hillary tried sounding like she was Southern when she did her Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Selma, Alabama speech. Well, Camel Toes tried using a Southern accent as well at a rally the other day and sounded like a complete moron, which is great. Mr. Uman, do we have more, or can I go to the news? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Oh, it's Chin Music. He says, John, can you imagine making the movie Falling Down in 2024? A lot more people would miss dinner. I tell you what, watch the movie Falling Down with fresh eyes. It stars not Michael Jackson, not Michael Keaton, but Michael Douglas as a disgruntled Department of Defense employee who has been recently let go. And as he travels through Los Angeles trying to get home for dinner, he discovers exactly what the hell is going on. Thank you, Uman. And it's a pretty interesting movie, pretty entertaining. It just points out a lot of defects. There's, let's see, anti-Semites, Nazi supporters, let's see, racist idiots, morons, Karens, fat asses, fast food, and the LGBT crowd makes an appearance there as well. So, call it entertainment. Thank you, Mr. Chin Music. And now I'm going to check a couple of news sites and see if anything has happened since we started the show. Let's see. Let's see. Kamala Harris is now being referred to as a psyop. And someone, oh my goodness, they burned effigies of King Bibi Netanyahu in Washington following his speech to Congress. And they shouted, Aloha Snack Bar, as the pro-Hamas, pro-murder, pro-rape, pro-Palestinian terrorists torched American flags. Don't like those people, folks. There's going to come a time when they're held accountable. Man, Whoopi Goldberg, let's see. She lost her mind. Whoopi Goldberg lost her mind, everyone. No, wait, I thought she did that about 3 decades ago. But you know why she lost her mind? Because CNN allowed someone to call her a DEI hire, a diversity, equity, and inclusion hire. Whoopi Goldberg flipped her fucking lid, lost her mind. Too bad, Whoopi. That's what she is, you dumb bitch. Now, I just can't see Whoopi without this thing about Ted Danson describing having sex with Whoopi as throwing a hot dog down a hallway. Woohoo! Okay. These same pro-murder, pro-rape, pro-Hamas terrorists have now assaulted police, and they're advocating the murder of Jews while Netanyahu was talking to Congress. If they're being violent, why aren't they being seen as insurrectionists? I don't think the police attacked them. I'm sure they are attacking the police because the police are protecting Netanyahu. Unbelievable, folks. Crazy stuff is going to continue to come out. Stand by. And this Uman says, he heard that camel toe donations have been frozen because Trump filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission. The FEC says Biden cannot give her the funds. And now it's going to get even uglier. Look out, folks. If they can't have it, nobody can. That is the way it goes with these wacko psychos, folks. Expect scorched earth, BLM, mostly peaceful arson, looting, and murder. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. It is on.